Welcome to another edition of Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and Friends. And here's your host, Russ McClellan.
Hey, welcome to Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and Friends. And today I'm stoked because I do have an original gangster in the mix.
Yes, sir.
Sarah Lopeman. How you doing?
I'm fabulous. How are you?
Good. And I have one of your offspring. Hunter Lopeman.
Yes, sir.
How's it going, brother?
Good.
Thanks for coming. I'm always, planning about every 7 minutes, so I appreciate the spontaneity. I kind of messed up and told the guest the wrong time. It's on me. Wasn't his fault. So
That's why I've never heard of you doing anything
every 7
like
minutes
that.
I plan. Organizing to get organized my whole life. So I am excited because, Hunter, you moved back to Wenatchee.
Yes, sir.
And that's where you grew up, right?
Yes.
Pretty much?
Yeah.
And we had a talk just a couple days ago, and I asked you a particular question, and I love it when people kind of grab the bull by the horn, so to speak, and they want to change direction or they want to change their life for something more positive. And I think it's really cool that you and your mom can work together, and she can, she's an original gangster, been with me since 2018, and can be a mentor to you and kind of learn from, how this thing all works. And so, I've been doing this 30 plus years. So I asked you the other day, just to share it with everybody listening, what is the main difference between what you thought the real estate business was going to be like? And now, granted, it's been, 4 or 5 weeks you've been working.
Yeah.
But you've seen your mom work. You've seen her be, 4 or 5 years now. What's the main difference between what you thought it was going to be like and what it feels like today, 4 or 5 weeks later? That maybe other people that are thinking, hey, man, I might be able to get into this game too.
Yeah. Biggest difference for me would have been, I really thought real estate was just more sitting in an office, doing transactions, writing deals. And it's so much more than that, so much more personal, which I love. You get to meet with clients, you get to make a big life decision and help them through that process and just share those memories with them, help them as much as you can. And it's a lot more go than I would have thought it was. You get to do, just like I said, you get to be a lot more personable, and you gain a connection with all your clients, which is awesome. It's your little family out there that you're supporting and helping them with big life decisions.
Yeah, and you said something really, in a way poetic that had kind of escaped me from how I've been describing real estate for quite a while. And it reminded me that I believe the same thing. And you said that real estate is fun.
Yeah.
Relationships are the key.
Right.
Right. And I think so often, as it is in life, we're so judged on social media, we're so judged in the rumor mill. We're so afraid to be authentic and vulnerable.
Yeah.
And anytime you start anything new, that's a natural feeling that, your first public speech is not going to go as well as your 100th.
Right.
Right. And so often I think we have a hard time embracing that it's okay to suck at something.
Yeah.
Because you can suck at something and still have fun.
Oh, yeah.
And the fail forward mentality, there's all these cliches, fail forward, fail often, fail big. I agree with all that, but it doesn't translate too well into fun. Or that I could do it. It kind of sounds like it's going to suck.
Yeah, it's going to be scary.
Yeah, it's going to be scary, and I'm going to screw up, and somebody's going to sue me, and I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. And I'm sure it's not going to make any money. And all of a sudden, that old saying, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're both ways you're right.
Right.
So your mindset around that. And I want to hear, how would you describe it? Try to imagine some of your friends that that maybe are struggling financially, or maybe they're in a job that they don't like, that would be good at real estate. What would be something that you would tell them as far as going for it? And we have a free real estate school, right?
Yeah.
And you're right in the middle of that.
Yeah, I'm doing it right now. That's a really big point right there, is that free real estate school. After everything's said and done, getting a real estate doesn't cost you a whole lot. And if you use boots on the ground as soon as you go and get out there and be personable with those clients and get your foot in the door with everyone, even if it doesn't happen right away. You're making all those connections for down the road. And you look at anything else where you can make as much money as you can in real estate. you're expected to get a degree, go to school, have all these student loans. And with real estate, I mean, you just start out with putting in a lot less money to get started, and you can turn it into something so much greater than you could have ever imagined.
Yeah, it's crazy. I have a kid. She's a doctor. She's amazing. She's a flamethrower. Her mom, always said that we didn't get along too well when she was younger because she was too much like me. I'm not sure if that's true. But she's a damn smart girl, now mother of my 2 grandsons. But there's a perfect example. That price tag that she paid to be a doctor was 8 years of school, student loans over $200,000.
Yeah.
And 4 years, if she got an A-, the anxiety attacks would set in because she'd have to take the class again to get into grad school. So there's 4 years of your life grinding and paying to grind, and then, oh my God, I got an A-, I got to take the class again, and then go into grad school, and then, 8 years of your life later, you start out, you make $69,000 a year.
Yeah.
Well, she makes more than that now, and because she's a great salesman. She sells a lot of hearing aids. She does real well there. But, I look at that and I go, wow. If our average commission, if you do the math, like in Wenatchee, our average price is what, Sarah, like $400,000 maybe?
A little over, I think we're at 474 last time I checked.
Wow. Yeah. So at 400 plus almost 500,000 at a 2%, 2.5% commission, you're looking at a 14,000 roughly commission. At our company, what's cool, we have a lot of different systems, but a very popular one is you'll get 70% of that. And that 30% helps us pay the bills that the company takes.
Yeah.
The beautiful thing about this, and this, that once that 30% hits 17 grand, if you're an individual agent, then you get 100% of that 14 grand.
Right.
And we have this platform for people that think, wow, I will never be able to figure all this stuff out, all the tech. I'm not a tech person. I don't know how to do computers. Well, Gary Keller was nice enough to hire like 300 technologists and spend $1 billion. And so for $25 a month, you get the plug and play recipe. Now, that's just part of it.
Yeah.
But you're right. Having fun with it and just being personable, I think that was the word you used. When you said that to me yesterday, it was really an authentic statement. And I was like, you know what? 30 plus years later, I'm still having fun. It's challenging at times.
Yeah.
But I still have fun. Still try to help people.
Right.
And, I often say, if you can make grace and forgiveness and generosity part of your business plan, things work out.
Yeah.
Even though in some cases a scarcity mindset sneaks in and goes, God, I need that commission. I got to pay that. Buy or else. That's where, we were joking around. That's where our guns come in. Like, buy that house. I'm backing, buddy. You better not say no to me. No, I love it. So what do you think? What do you think, Sarah? First of all, how did you have to convince Hunter? Or how did you guys come up with this decision? Was it like you were bugging him every day?
I mean, the conversation started off slow, just a little bit here and there. And then I think maybe a night of being up a little late might have helped his decision making. I got a phone call, I think about 12:30. He was like, Mom, ready to do it. Let's do this.
Yeah, were you resistant in the beginning? Like when the ideas were floating around? Wasn't really your cup of tea?
Yeah, I was definitely resistant in the beginning. And then even before I moved back to Wenatchee, it was still a thought in my head. And then after shadowing her these last few weeks and seeing what she does, I mean, I just fell in love with it so quickly and just loved every bit of it. And I mean, even the hard days, there's going to be hard days no matter what you do in life, but even the hard days in real estate, I still loved and just had fun with.
Yeah, well, she's one of the best there is. So to have your mom being such a gangster, everybody loves your mom.
Yeah.
So you're not going to have that. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, you probably will, man. That's what's cool about this business. You can be, I say it all the time, but there's 4 things you have to do to be successful in real estate if you break it right down to the very basics. Because I think sometimes we tend to overcomplicate this business. And there's an old saying that it's a simple business, just not an easy business.
Right.
But one of the 4 things that I've said since 1991, maybe 1989 when I got in, that my mentor told me, he said, hey, if you want to be successful in real estate or really any sales, right, here's a couple things. Be yourself. Don't try to be somebody. Don't try to be Sarah. Don't try to be me. Don't try to be your friends. Just be you. Be you times 2. Be authentic you, because you're the best at that.
Right.
Be honest every time. even when it's tough, man. Like the bad news is best delivered quick.
Yeah.
The buyer backed out. Seller's packed up. This is stressful, but you just got to hit it on. You know, bad news best delivered quick and work through it. Mm-hmm. So, you know, be honest, be yourself, do it today, not tomorrow. I can't even tell you how many times, Hunter, that I've seen people on floor in my career. The phone rings. Hey, I have a house to sell on 123 Main Street. Could you help me? And then the agent would be like all of a sudden panicked.
Yeah.
Instead of going, hell yeah, let's go. You know, I'll be there in 3.5 minutes.
Yeah.
They go, well, let me look at my calendar, which they don't have.
Yeah.
And they go, how about next Friday? I'm like, hey, here's a rule. When somebody's in the mood to buy, let them buy.
Right.
And when they're in the mood to sell, let them sell. Let's go do this, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, that's part of it. And then, you know, the last one is just probably the most important. And the one that I would say if I had to pull most agents, they don't do. And that's preview properties, so you know the product.
Yeah.
If you're going to sell widgets, know how many colors you have, how many sizes you have. Houses are the same. And if you just do those 4 things, know your product, be honest, do it today, not tomorrow, and be yourself, that's it.
Yeah.
It's a simple business.
Right.
We'll fill in the rest. We come right back. We're with Hunter and Sarah Lopeman, an original gangster and a new gangster, the Keller Williams. Back in a couple minutes with Home Sweet Home with Russ, McClellan, and friends.
Keller Williams, you make dreams come true. Home sweet home, home sweet home.
Hey, this is Russ McClellan with Keller Williams. I want to talk to you about something. Do you feel stuck? Do you feel the financial pressures of the COVID virus? That was fun, wasn't it? I'll tell you what, real estate can be a game changer for you, and I'm here to help you. If you want to give me a call at 509-888-0038, I want to talk about your life and getting unstuck. We are growing rapidly. We're the fastest growing real estate company in all of North Central Washington. Give us a call. I want to help you. 509-888-0038.
With the new Keller Williams School of Real Estate, you can now get your license for free. Access tools, tips, and personalized coaching with Keller Williams' award-winning training programs, and start off your career in real estate the right way. K-Score is 100% online and entirely free to students, with pre-licensing curriculum geared toward placing aspiring agents on a direct path to licensure and profitability. With K-Score, we're not just unlocking the door, we're opening every door to anyone that's ever dreamed of starting their career in real estate. We're making a difference for you so that you can make a difference for others. Now available for all individuals in Washington. Your future awaits. Enroll today.
We're excited. We got a lot of people signing up, so give us a call, 509-888-0038, or simply email us at joinus@KWNCW.com. Let's go from being stuck to unstuck.
You're tuned to Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and friends. Now back to Russ.
I have Hunter Lopeman, a brand new to-be real estate broker. I appreciate you coming in, Hunter.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for having some courage, going for your dreams. There's not enough of that dream seeking lately, and I'm loving that you reminded me that this is a fun game. And you're right, it's not going to be easy. Last time you said it's not going to always be easy. There's going to be hard days. There's going to be heartache.
Right.
There's going to be stress. But, you know, there's a difference between stress and anxiety. Stress can, like, be a good thing. Iron sharpens iron.
100%.
Yeah, setting goals, going for it, holding yourself accountable. You know, when you stay up a little too late, got a little too much drinking in, and you have to get up to work out, that sucks.
Yeah.
Trust me, when you're 53 and you do it, it really sucks. But you'll do it because you're a disciplined guy. You're going to focus and you're going to win, and being competitive is part of that. But then, you know, there's going to be times where you're like, wow, why was that person insane that I just talked to?
Yeah.
A lot of that going around too. And that's just working with the public.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you're like, you're fired as a client. No thanks. Or give them to somebody else. Like, I've done that actually. But it can be an amazingly fulfilling career because you are helping people with shelter.
Yeah.
And when you see someone that is worried about where they're going to live, I mean, there's nothing quite like that, is there, Sarah?
Mm-mm.
when they get those keys, and they didn't, especially if they didn't think it was possible, and they didn't come from a background where home ownership was maybe part of the program. And there's a lot of people struggling. Not everybody got the fair deal. Like there's some of us that were just blessed, and some of us were not. But those situations, regardless, when somebody gets keys to a new home, it's a big deal. It's a very big deal. And so that's something that I told you the other day, when you're setting goals.
Yeah.
And you said it as well, having a big why and figuring out, okay, what's going to motivate me to work hard when I don't want to?
Right.
Because when everything's going great, I mean, trust me, when rates were at 2.5% and the average home price was $300,000, and everybody you knew could buy a house,
Everyone was happy.
a lot of realtors in the game. Let's party. I'm great. And then what did I tell you about a bad business model? Remember?
I remember us talking about how in a great market you can have a bad agent do well, and then the bad business model, you have to be a great agent, work harder at it.
Yeah, essentially when you're in a fantastic, like the stars have aligned in the real estate market, it camouflages a bad business model.
Yeah.
Because we're all kind of looking good. And then when the rates double and the price goes to $475, and now it's a little harder.
Right.
Now you have to dig a little deeper. And people that aren't working hard, meaning, like, let's say you haven't lead generated in 5 years.
Yeah.
You just had a lot of friends that could buy houses because it was less expensive and the interest rates were less. So it was a glorious time to be in real estate.
Yeah.
But you didn't work towards having the good habits. You've developed habits that are maybe more on the arrogant side or the egotistical side, and all of a sudden you're all that in a bag of chips. And then one day you wake up and you're like, uh-oh.
It's not as
And
easy
this
now.
is where this is okay, right? Because I've done it many times in my life. I've made a lot of stupid mistakes, and I've been arrogant, and I've made a lot of mistakes. But it's a defining moment. Like, who do you want to be? Because
Right.
once you wake up and you go, okay, I got to work hard. Am I going to make excuses about it? Am I going to play the blame game? The rates, the Fed's screwing me. The leads suck. These people are not nice. Or you're going to be like, you know what? I'm going to dig deep and lead generate 3 hours a day and set appointments for 2 hours a day, and I'm going to work my butt off. And the good news is, I said this on the last show, if you do that, if you just are disciplined, I mean work, like disciplined work, you don't need to work 80 hours a week. You don't need to work nights and weekends. You're going to start over a period of time, but it's like any job. You're not going to go to Boeing in the first day on the job like, hey, where's my 6 weeks vacation? Yeah. You know what? I only work till 2. Although I do hear these things from people these days, which are very strange from my perspective as a 53-year-old. It's like, wait a minute, you want to be the owner in 3 days?
Yeah.
Took me a little longer than that, but yep, or I quit. Okay, bye. Sometimes the entitlement is a little off, but that's the opportunity. A shift in real estate market will separate the herd.
Right.
And now all of a sudden it's fun again, because now the good news is sellers are being more flexible. You don't have to have 47 offers to get one accepted.
Yeah.
Because I asked somebody the other day, was that more fun when you had to write 80 offers literally over a year and a half to find a one that some seller finally accepted? Or is it better you can actually do a home inspection and you can actually get, the seller to be a little flexible, and you can represent your buyer, and you can be a little more cautious in a big, big decision rather than waiving all those inspections like we did just 2 years ago. So it's an exciting time. It's an exciting time to be in real estate. It's cool that you're in it. Sarah, when you think about from 2018 to today, and I remember when we first met, and you were working somewhere else, not in the real estate business.
I was still full-time bartending for my first year.
Yeah, in Applebee's, right?
It was a couple random places trying to make hours and everything work. Yeah.
Single mom.
Yep. Didn't really go my first full year, or almost full year. I think I was about 9 months in 2019, 2020-ish is when I really said, okay, gotta let all these safety nets go and just jump into it.
It's hard.
So really, and I'm willing to be a little vulnerable if you're okay with that.
I love it.
So really, I think I only had maybe a year of doing real estate before the pandemic hit. And when it first hit, that was scary, but it went from scary to, okay, this is fun. We're moving some real estate. So a lot of majority of the time that I've actually been working full time in real estate has been through the pandemic. And I am absolutely be the first one to say that I was extremely lax. Like my first year, I know I hit the ground running because I knew that that's what I had to do. But as soon as things started getting easy, I was like, man, this gig, why didn't I start doing this sooner? And this last summer, I mean, I've told the story 1,000 times. Oh, I had a lot of fun this summer. There was definitely work that came along with it, but I wasn't doing my lead gen like I should have been. I wasn't doing my door knocking. I wasn't making my calls. I wasn't doing all the things that I knew was important. And then when we kind of came out of that, there was a time of going, okay, shoot, what are we doing now? And I've had several conversations with people going, what am I going to do? This feels like really scary. Am I going to go back to bartending? Am I going back into the restaurant? Like, what am I going to do to ensure that income is there and that I can take care of my kids? And I think this kid.
That's awesome. It's awesome. She's getting emotional. I love it. I love this business, and I love that you love each other so much.
He said we're doubling down. And that's exactly what we did. Sorry. So that conversation was a couple weeks ago. And I can't tell you how thankful I am for that conversation.
Well, it says a lot about how open you were to listen to a statement more than a question, like, hey, and it's really a powerful emotion when you get inspired by your kids.
Oh, heck yes, it is.
Yeah, I've been teared up more than once.
Yeah.
And I just you wake up and you're like, how did I raise this kid? Like, wow.
Well, it's just the feeling of
and not turn into adults.
Yeah, all of a sudden, how did that? I don't say that like there's anything wrong with working in the restaurant industry because I raised all 3 of my kids doing it for 20 years. I mean, it is fantastic. But I have definitely developed such a passion for real estate, and to be, I think like the emotion from it comes to go, man, I've worked so hard to get where I am and I've waited so long to be able to be where I am right now. Like the thought of that being taken away because of me being lazy or me not doing, like, girl, you've pulled off 3 jobs and 3 kids at one time. Like, why is this something that you can't pull off? So to be at a spot and to come to a realization, and we just had a conversation. I was like, I cannot even believe that it was a solid week that I sat there having doubts going, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe this isn't the time. And just realizing, no, we need to get up earlier. We need to be working later. We need to get more systems in place. We just need to be better, right? At everything that we're doing, we need to be better at it. And I'm so grateful that we are where we are because I'm so excited to see where the discipline and where the systems are going to take us in the future.
Well, and here's the thing about this business. You can go from brand new to number 1 in a very short period of time if you work. And most people that are successful work. I mean, and they work consistently, and they wake up a little hungry and a little scared, and that's okay. Right. It's kind of like getting ready for a football game on Friday night. Like, I'm a little scared. It's a big team. It's a big game. But I'm hungry to win. I'm hungry to fight. I'm hungry to be competitive. So let's go play this game. I remember I was riding bulls. I'd get on a bull and I'd be like, I'm a little scared. Yeah. Got big horns, a lot bigger than me. I'm a little guy. And but I was like, man, that's fun. Riding motorcycles, jumping motorcycles, all that stuff was just. I always equate selling real estate to the same competitiveness of those things, like racing. Yeah. Like you guys are, have a history of. So it's awesome to hear that, because that defining moment is what defines you. And you guys have probably heard this old saying, but, defining moments are where you define the moment or you allow the moment to define you. And It sounds like you guys have defined the moment. That's awesome. I'll be right back with Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and Hunter Lopeman and Sarah Lopeman.
Keller Williams, you make dreams come true. Home sweet home.
Hey, this is Russ McClellan with Keller Williams. Thanks for tuning in to our radio show. I want everybody to know something. We offer a free real estate school, K-Score. We have a brand new team leader in Lauren Malloy. If you're interested in changing your life, if you don't have enough money, if you need extra money for those AU basketball shoes, if you want a career that actually gives you your time back, believe it or not, not everybody works 100 hours a week in real estate, trust me. At the end of the day, Keller Williams provides the systems, tools, training, and technology you need to flourish. Give us a call at 509-888-0038. You can call me personally at 509-470-2416 or email our staff and Kelly Hain, my sister and our Market Center Administrator, at joinus@kw.com for more information on our free real estate school. Make it a great day. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, this is Russ McClellan. We started our real estate company, Keller Williams Realty, North Central Washington, in the spring of 2018. We've grown to be the largest real estate company in North Central Washington, and there's a reason for that. We attract people that want to keep the vast majority of the money they earn because they deserve it. We attract people that know that Keller Williams is the most advanced education and training real estate company and the largest real estate franchise system on the planet. We're in approximately 55 countries with approximately 170,000 agents with the most advanced technology in a world that is driven by the digital age that there is in real estate. We also, if that's not enough, profit share at 49% above a predictable expense line monthly. If you're interested in learning more about Keller Williams Realty NCW, give us a call today at 509-888-0038 and let's talk real estate. Have a great day.
You're listening to Keller Williams Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and friends. Now back to the show.
Hey, welcome back to Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and friends. I'm stoked. I got Hunter Lopeman in K-Score, getting your real estate license, studying to take the test, working, shadowing. Ms. Sarah Lopeman.
Yes, sir.
I love your authenticity.
Do you? That's great.
Well, you're an example of how it should be done. Winners win. And if it's important to you, you will find a way. And if it's not, you'll find an excuse.
That's all right.
And you said it, be comfortable being uncomfortable. But when you hear that often and you haven't applied a mindset to it or an intentional behavior or a purposeful thought process, it often sounds like just another BS cliche from some crazy motivational speaker on YouTube.
Yeah.
But when you said something in between segments that I wanted to touch on, you said mindset. Now, I seem to say mindset a lot, and it bugs people because I say it so much. I'm like, mindset.
Right.
Like, shut up with that. But you said it, and you said it in a very real sense. Like, maybe you could repeat it for everybody else, but like you said, until I developed that mindset, it was harder.
Yeah, no, it took a lot, and I mean, it's easy to be comfortable. I mean, it really, you have to step outside, and it takes a lot to get your mindset to develop. Like, I got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. And to a lot of people, like, if they don't have that mindset, it is going to sound just like some other motivational speaker on YouTube. But once you really dig into it and learn what that saying actually means and develop that mindset and flip that switch to actually doing it, it truly is life-changing, and it'll open a lot more doors for you than you could imagine.
Amen.
Whose kid is this anyway?
He'll be sitting right here.
I'm so thankful for that rock that I found him under.
Well, and I want to acknowledge you, Sarah, for being open to criticism or being open to an idea that wasn't fun. When you had doubt and you had vulnerability, you first, that recognition of like, okay, there's nothing wrong with fear. Like, fear is part of life.
Absolutely.
Courage is an asset, right?
Right.
To be courageous is a positive. A courageous person is we look up to that. Well, my man Fletcher Ellingson, mindset coach, practice of feeling good. I've coached him a long time, and he said, "Look, here's the reality. You can't have courage without fear.
Yeah. You
can have fear without courage, but you can't have courage without fear." And that's kind of what we're talking about. It's like looking fear in the eye, looking at the unknown, and it's a need. Certainty is a human need. That's like built into the DNA. Like, I want to be able to predict where I'm going to sleep, what I'm going to get food. And these are basic things.
Right.
When stuff like pandemics and inflation and wars in Ukraine and chaos and, you know, all the stuff that's been going on the last couple of years created a lot of uncertainty in people. It's one of the reasons I find it so admirable that you have stepped up and said, you know, now is my time. And, you know, again, nothing's going to stop me because this is focus. And that consistency is what people, I think, miss.
Yeah.
Because it's not like, you know, it's not like you have to be 6'8" and jump 4 feet off the ground to play in the NBA, right? It's like,
Right.
You don't have to run a 4-flat 40 to be, to be a running back. You got to be pretty athletic.
Right.
You know, anybody can do real estate if they have the right mindset. That's a fact. I've been training people for a long time, and I've seen a lot of people come and go, and the vast majority of people don't make it. But it's not because they couldn't. Most of the time, it's because they weren't given the right training or the right mentorship or the right, opportunity. In fact, most of history in real estate was there's your phone, there's your desk, call your friends and family until you burn out, and then I'll take your checks and I'll be in Maui. That's been the traditional real estate training grounds. To have a company that has scaled, it has brought challenges. Mm-hmm. A lot of personalities. 89 real estate brokers. That's almost 20% of the entire MLS. But as we grow, and starting with me, we learn and we adapt. We make mistakes. We just don't quit.
Yeah.
And if you just get hungry every day and you just grind, good things happen.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, like, you got emotional. Good on you.
I did?
Yep.
Oh, I think that was Hunter.
No, I saw her. She was teared up. It was an awesome moment. Probably the best moment in the radio show's history. I wish I had a video camera. God dang it.
That's not even nice.
No, but you know why? Because other people are scared, and they're afraid to take advice. They don't want to admit that they don't know what they don't know. They don't want to admit that, I shouldn't have bought that boat during the pandemic for $50,000. Now my pipeline's running out. Oh, because you haven't been working.
Right.
Oh, but I don't want to tell anybody I haven't been working. Oh, no, that's the pretender. And I get it. I mean, it's a very humbling moment in time, and to be humble and to forgive yourself first is important. Like, that's just being it's just like we all make mistakes. We all go down paths. I've gone down like a lot of paths.
Yeah.
And they're not all good. They don't all end well. And I'll probably do the same some more. I'm pretty good at messing up. Like, at the end of the day, I don't mind that. Because I am pretty sure none of us are getting out alive. And I don't know if it works for everybody else, but I'm like, I wake up, and I started doing this with miraclemorning.com, a guy named Hal Elrod that I met, wrote a book, and it's just the first hour when you wake up. So it's kind of hocus pocus stuff in the beginning, journaling. Why would I journal? Meditation? Are you kidding me? There was a lot of these things that I had never done.
Yeah.
Yoga? Hot yoga? Are you serious? I literally, my first day in a hot yoga class, I said, excuse me, raised my hand. I didn't know you're not supposed to do that. I don't think my body does that. So what can I do? And they're like, yes, it does, Russ. You're human. So it just takes time.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, I'm like, I went 26 out of 31 days in whatever month it was, August.
Yeah.
But that's how I start my day out. Like, I just need to get that. I got to get up early, so I'm up at 4. I'm in a hot yoga studio by 5:30, and if I do that, I know my day is going to be great. If I don't do that, I better have intentionally made that decision. I don't always intentionally make that decision. Sometimes I stay up late. Sometimes I do this. Sometimes I do that. And it's a little harder at 53 to get up because that's okay if I plan it. But when I don't plan it, I got to be honest with myself and go, hey, I got to step back and get real. And I think that's what you guys are doing right now is an example for everybody. That everybody that thinks they can't take on the world, it's too stressful, it's too chaotic. It's not. What you need to do is lean in. Lean into the team. Lean into Keller Williams. Lean into people that have a like mind that want to help you. Because I know Sarah, and I'm sure you guys are like two peas in a pod now about helping people. Like we have a whole bunch of agents like that and a whole ecosystem in Keller Williams. Like, I have literally not asked somebody for something and they said, no way, dude.
Yeah.
It's all like, what can I do to help you?
It's just not our culture. I was just talking to an agent yesterday that was, I guess she's not an agent yet, but talking about getting into school. And it was funny because I wasn't able to talk to her at first, but she called Kelly and then told Kelly that she knew me. And so Kelly was like, hey, you know so-and-so. And she was questioning about the school. And so I called her right away and was like, why didn't you call me? I didn't know if it was okay to. And I'm like, of course. But we had probably an hour conversation. And so much of that was just the culture of Keller Williams, you know, and telling her, I'm like, I encourage you to, you know, interview with other offices. I did the same thing. And I was like, I'm telling you, it was such a godsend that the year that I got my license was the year that Keller Williams came into Wenatchee.
Yeah.
And
For both of us.
just would not even, I'm so passionate about what this company stands for. And I'm open about that with everybody.
Yeah, why are you drinking the Kool-Aid?
I know. Gosh dang it.
You know, I asked somebody that last show.
I
asked
can't
Lauren
tell
that.
you how many times I've heard that.
I
Can't
asked
believe you're drinking that Kool-Aid. I'm like, man, it's tasty though.
That's exactly what Lauren said. It tastes good, dude. Don't you remember that high C guy? He was cool.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Drinking some Kool-Aid. We don't have any fun at Keller Williams. Here's the thing. I mean, what would be the one piece of advice as we wrap up this show? It's been fun. If you had people that are scared right now, Sarah, what would you tell them?
Oh man. Well, I think what Hunter and I have been saying back and forth for the last week or so, do it scared.
Do it scared.
Do it scared.
I like that.
I mean, it's hard. And I mean, I know, again, we can probably go back and forth with cliches all day long, but you know, it's choose your hard. What is hard? Waking up, having regrets and not being in a job or a career that you are passionate about, or waking up and knowing that you need to force yourself to be more disciplined and more on task and, you know, watch your life fulfilled that way.
Yeah, you know, one of the things I say is, you know what scares me? It's not winning or losing. It's being in the same spot 1 year from today. I just don't want to. That's for me personally. I just want to go. I just want to grow. And I can grow by losing too. And so sometimes, you know, we all have our own personalities. There's not a one-size-fits-all. That's a beautiful thing about be yourself, you know, those 4 rules. And that's it, because there is not one way to do this business. There's a million ways to do this business.
Absolutely.
And there's an abundant number of deals. We live in a beautiful area and people can work from home now. So then we have challenges. We have some people that need our help. So, I mean, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to working with you. Keep up the good work. Keep motivating each other.
We will.
Yeah, I'm glad you're having fun.
Me too. It's been a blast.
Yeah, I'm grateful. You know, when you wake up grateful and you put gratitude part of it, every day is a good day.
Absolutely.
Some days are harder, but every day is a good day. All right, thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
All right, when we come right back, we'll have Michael Maher and PrimeLending talking about the mortgage game and inflation and higher interest rates.
Keller Williams, you make dreams come true.
With the new Keller Williams School of Real Estate, you can now get your license for free. Access tools, tips, and personalized coaching with Keller Williams award-winning training programs, and start off your career in real estate the right way. K-Score is 100% online and entirely free to students, with pre-licensing curriculum geared toward placing aspiring agents on a direct path to licensure and profitability. With K-Score, we're not just unlocking the door, we're opening every door to anyone that's ever dreamed of starting their career in real estate. We're making a difference for you so that you can make a difference for others. Now available for all individuals in Washington. Your future awaits. Enroll today.
We're excited. We got a lot of people signing up, so give us a call, 509-888-0038, or simply email us at joinus@KWNCW.com. Let's go from being stuck to unstuck. Hi, this is Russ McClellan, operating partner with Keller Williams Realty and the host of this show, Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and Friends. I want to take just a minute to say a heartfelt thank you for your support and tuning into our show each and every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. I personally have made some amazing friendships as a direct result of this radio show, and I couldn't be more grateful. As always, throw the phone in the drawer, be present, spend some time with your friends and loved ones, and make it a fantastic Saturday. Thanks again for your amazing support of Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and Friends.
You're enjoying the Real Estate Show, Home Sweet Home with Russ, McClellan, and Friends. Here's more with Russ.
Hey, welcome back. This is Russ McClellan. One more time with Michael Maher at PrimeLending. Thanks for calling in, Michael. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Excited to be here and, as usual, kind of give people the lowdown on what's going on in the mortgage world.
Yeah, as you know, we tape this show, and these shows will air in September. But I'm going to give you kudos because, although by the time you're listening to this, it actually happened last month, but you and PrimeLending are working with wounded warriors and teaching them today, as a matter of fact, how to wake surf. And you were telling me off air that you had a chance to meet a lot of guys and maybe gals that had some serious injuries in combat in Iraq and so on. And I just wanted to commend you because, without those veterans, it's a different game. That we don't have those freedoms. It's not free. Those guys are amazing heroes. So kudos to all of you guys.
No, I appreciate that. And just on that note, real quick, when it comes to these guys, the injuries, even if you can't see them, I spoke to one guy who said that this saved his life. Something as simple as wake surfing was enough for him to go, you know what, I found purpose again, and this is what I want to be involved in. As silly as that might sound to a lot of people, just getting involved in any small way can make a big difference between these guys being around or not. So no, I appreciate that, and I'm excited for teaching them today. So it'll be fun. Yeah,
exactly. When you get a chance, make sure you let them know, because I'm working with I made a phone call and beginning to work with the Veterans Association and Veterans Affairs on getting real estate licenses, because we have that real estate school that's free. And those guys and gals that were intense and disciplined, and whether they're in combat or not, are a great, fit for real estate. They're passionate, they're loyal, dedicated, disciplined. All of those things, when you add purpose through real estate, people just don't think about it. But real estate's something that if you're just an honorable human, you're honest, your work ethic is there, the rest we can teach. And
exactly.
And there's never been a better time to get into real estate, in my opinion, than during a shift. And that's where we are. So, and we can talk more about that. So with that being said, we're definitely seeing some things change, right? In your world,
Yep.
The refinances are probably slowing down, if not drying up, as the interest rates climb. There's no incentive. So that's probably happening, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Well, how do we talk for a while about, I'd like to talk about how do you structure deals where now you have flexibility from sellers, which was kind of a unicorn for about 4 or 5 years. Sellers were not really in the mood to even have inspections, let alone give concessions on price or otherwise. But sometimes in a market that's shifting, the buyers can become very creative with their real estate brokers and structuring deals to enhance that opportunity. And so I was going to just maybe role play a little bit and or just talk about a case that we have going around, get your take on it. And what the situation is, the buyer has $100,000, want to buy an $800,000 house. The seller's willing to pay closing costs. Seller's willing to basically come up with about $50,000 to $75,000 in concessions. There's some about $25,000, $30,000 worth of work that needs to be done on this house to get it up to code. What's the best way to preserve or use that $100,000, would you think, if the goal of the buyer is to reduce the payment and have the cash to fix this house up and not have to worry about something not being up to code, like electrical, for example? What are some of the ways we could do that?
Yeah, no, I think this is important for people to kind of understand the strategy behind it. So first and foremost, if someone's goal is to have a lower payment, it's always going to be better to buy the interest rate down rather than have a reduction in price. Now, it'll make sense to do that. There's some break-even points when it comes to buying down points. And what that means is, at some point, if you were to pay a lot of money to get a lower interest rate, but then you were going to turn around and sell the home in a couple of years, it may not make financially enough sense to buy the interest rate down, and a lower price might be better. But if you're planning, if this is a primary purchase where you're going to live there for the foreseeable future, then buying points is 100% the way to get the lower payment. Now, with that being said, depending on how much someone is putting down as a down payment will determine what the seller is legally allowed to provide back to the buyer as far as credits. So if you're putting less than 10% down, the seller can only give 3% back. If you're putting more than 10%, then the seller can give 6% back. So on this particular example, at an $800,000 purchase price with $100,000 down, that's about 12% down. So the seller could give back a full credit of 6% of that purchase price, which is $48,000, towards the buyer to help towards closing costs or buying the rate down. But you said that total they're willing to work between $50,000 to $75,000.
Yeah, and some of that, like 25, 30, needs to go to enhancing things in the house, like electrical, et cetera, that need to be up to code, that were driven by an inspection report.
No, exactly. So what do we do now that we're capped on? Let's just assume the seller's going to give the full 6% and you're going to use it all. Well, that still leaves about, say, $30,000 on the table. Well, the seller can't just write a check to the buyer and the buyer can't get cash and do that. However, they kind of can in a way. So if you have some stuff that's going on with the property and you want to get that done, fixed, whether it's a new roof, some paint, putty, whatever it is, the seller can actually do a seller-funded holdback. And what that means is the seller puts money in an account that escrow holds for specific work items that the buyer needs to go get a licensed and bonded contractor to get these bids done. And then that will be paid for out of that account on the seller's dime. So that is a creative way that we've been utilizing, then basically the buyer, quote unquote, getting cash back to credit on top of what the seller's giving them on closing costs.
Yeah, and did you say they needed to be, the contractors have to have the bids in during escrow before closing, and did those contractors have to be licensed and bonded?
Yep, correct. So you have to have everything picked out. They won't, at the end of it, really has to make sure all the ducks are in a row when it comes to, it's not really an open check. So you're better off just getting a bunch of items that you want done to the home and having those on an itemized list so that there's money set aside for those particular items that you want completed.
Now, at what point would we, because we talk about the enhancement loan, rehab loans a lot too, where basically you would buy the house at X price, then you would already have these same general contractors give you estimates on what they're going to do. The appraiser would then appraise it based on these work requirements already being done. And then you do a two-step process where it's actually not a holdback, it's actually coming from the lender in the enhancement portion of the post-closing environment. So if you, in this example, well, I guess what I'm asking is, when does that become better to do holdbacks or better to do enhancement loans?
Enhancement is going to be when the buyer funds it, and a holdback is when the option is for the seller to do that. You can do a buyer-funded holdback, and usually if the buyer is going to set some money aside, that can be for smaller ticket items that maybe the appraiser called out, like there's some peeling paint, things like that, that they maybe can't get on the schedule right away, but you still want to close the loan quickly. But more often than not, you're going to do an enhancement or a renovation loan when the buyer is going to foot the bill, and holdbacks are typically when the seller is going to foot the bill. Not always, but I would say that's what when I would encourage a buyer to use that program, is if the seller is going to foot the bill for them.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense, because if you just said, hey, we're at 800 and I want 100 back, I'll just jump it to 900. Well, boom, then we have an appraisal problem, because we're not in that holdback environment. The appraiser is not giving any consideration to the improvements. It's going to be an as-is appraisal. So by jacking the price $100,000 just to get it back, they probably will run into that problem where it won't appraise. Where if you do an enhancement loan, they appraise it as is. There's essentially like two appraisals, right? They appraise it as is, and then they appraise it with the new swimming pool or with the new paint or the new roof. And therefore, you're able to, as a borrower, borrow the money to fix it up and include that in your mortgage, versus a holdback where it's just, you're just buying it and then they're going to take some of their equity and fix up the house to get it financeable or whatever,
Yep.
up to code. Yeah, it's interesting because they're kind of related. They're like kissing cousins, but but it's how you structure things. This is the challenge. And, we have cases all the time where buyers get bad advice or, not intentionally, but they say things, and we all do from our own experiences. And the reality is, if you do something for 30 years, you probably have a little more experience than 3 months. Doesn't mean you're smarter. But the thing about like what we call R&D in our company, which is rip off and duplicate, it also includes intellectual properties, meaning lean into each other. When you have almost 90 real estate brokers in a firm in a town the size of Wenatchee in north central Washington, that's like 20% of the entire MLS, right? So we have people that have people that have people, right? So that's the fun thing about working with Keller Williams agents. We all have these relationships and this creativity. So if you're working with someone out there that's a lender that doesn't know what a renovation loan is, doesn't know an enhancement loan, doesn't know how to do holdbacks, then you probably need to interview some different lenders like Michael Maher and PrimeLending. And the same thing goes for the brokerage. And that is, if the broker doesn't know how to write contracts that are creative in a shift, you need to find somebody that does. And then most importantly, we have to work together. One of the things I like to do is say we quarterback transactions on behalf of our clients, and that means we leverage into other relationships like you. Hey, man, we're almost out of time, so how do people get a hold of you, Michael? I appreciate it.
Yeah. No, the best way is my cell, 425-760-8824. You can call or text that number anytime, and I'll pick up and be available to answer any questions anyone has.
All right. Well, thanks again for working with those awesome vets. Hey, everybody, get outside, play with your kids. That work-life balance is important. Just like we always say, God, family, business at Keller Williams. Don't stress out about hypotheticals. They may not even happen. Just live a real life. Enjoy each other, give each other hugs, high fives. Let's have some fun. Thanks for tuning in one more time to Home Sweet Home with Russ, McClellan, and Friends.
It's a bright new day, just came my way.